Hey y'all, by Tarot by Arwen, and today we're going to be doing tarot for writers. So we won't be doing readings right away. We might do them at the end of the show, but for right now I want to focus on the writer stuff. So I'm going to get my little scarf on because otherwise it gets chewed on by the dogs. I want to talk to you a little bit about when you're writing fiction. You want to really get focused on moving your story forward. Hi, sweetie. And part of the problem with writing is we get great stories in our heads, right? Really fabulous things, and we want to tell the stories, but we get stuck. Something that you need to look at are the bones of the story, the tools of how a fiction story is written. Some of my background, one, I'm a professional psychic and tarot reader, and I've been reading since 1980-81. I started like in December of 80. So I've been doing it a few years, right? Then I started writing when I was a kid. I mean, the first thing I can remember writing, I was about 7 years old, and it was bad, y'all. It was really bad. But my mama loved it. So as I developed my writing, I learned how to use tarot for writing. And I bought books on the craft of writing, all of those sorts of things. Is anybody here a writer? We have other fiction writers here. You can find my fiction online as Mary Lou Mann, M-A-N-N, and I write with my best friend. And we have 10 or 11 books out now, so it's a little bit difficult to find them because we pulled some from our publisher to try to self-publish. So what I want to talk to you about is how to use a very common tool. There's a book by a woman named Deb Dixon, and Deb has written many books, fiction and nonfiction, and one of her craft books on the craft of writing is brilliant. It's called Goal, Motivation, and Conflict. Every character in your book needs to have a GMC. Goal, motivation, conflict. I write romance, so you're always going to hear me talk about the hero and the hero, or the hero and the heroine. People who don't write romance don't necessarily have, that piece of it going on, but they still have a character with goal, motivation, conflict. And the way to think of them is, what is goal? Goal means, what do you want? What does your character want? You can use this as a personal reading, right? You can use this for yourself. Motivation. Why does your character want this? Conflict. Why does your character think they can't have it? Now, conflict can be another person, but there are two. This was where it gets kind of tricky, y'all. There are two layers to goal, motivation, and conflict. There's the outer one, that's the one you see, it's happening, and then there's the inner one, that's going on in the character's head. And sometimes they're not right. They're not right in conjunction with one another. So again, it gives you some fodder for your story. You want to think about each scene. How does it move my character towards their goal? Does it show their motivation, or does it show the conflict? And if you keep that in mind, just that little cosmos, you can see how your character is moving forward. Is anybody working on a story right now? Maybe we can use your character for a little test reading. And I do fiction for this. Haven't figured out nonfiction tarot spreads yet, but I'm going to be working on that. I'm working on a nonfiction book right now, so we'll see how that goes, right? But does anybody have any questions about what goal, motivation, and conflict is? Do you understand it on a personal level? Come on and shout out to me. Stepped away from writing for a while. It can be a good thing. It gives you a way to re-energize your writing. My partner and I, Kay, she lives over in about 3.5 hours from me, and she's my writing partner. We've been best friends since we were 16, true story, which has been almost 40 years now. So we totally lost my train of thought. But we understand that for us, we have to write more than one story at a time. And we write contemporary and para, or paranormal. So sometimes, and we write heterosexual, contemporary and paranormal, and we write gay male contemporary. We haven't done any, yes we have, we do have a gay male paranormal out as well. But it's a really short, it was a free read that our publisher put out. I think it's been pulled down since. And we're going to expand it, blah, blah, blah. But what I want to find out is, and I know we have at least one person in here who's a songwriter. So when you write songs, I don't know how you approach that. You know, do you have a character in your head when you're putting the words on paper? Are you writing, you know, your own experience? How do you do these things? What does it mean to write a story? So I'm open to questions. I'm just kind of blah, blah, blahing here, y'all. But let's look at what goal, motivation, and conflict might look like. Let's just try that. I have a story that is, I did it in NaNoWriMo last year. It's just over 50,000 words. Not finished. I need to, I expect it'll end up about 90 or 95K. But it is an old school sword and sorcery. So it's not a paranormal. There's a little romance in it. It's not a contemporary. But I cut my teeth on Fairford and the Grey Mouser, and if you read S.M. Sterling's books, or oh gosh, I can't even think of the other ones. Mercedes Zimmer, MZB, Mercedes Zimmer Bradley wrote some that I consider sword and sorcery. The Conan books were definitely sword and sorcery. So, and mine is a female sword fighter and a male wizard. And his quirk, he's a war wizard who doesn't believe in killing people. It makes him kind of an, not a very dependable partner in a fight, because you don't know whether he's going to go, can we just talk about this, or whether he's actually going to use his magic. Contradiction, exactly. I wanted to really make him kind of twist it up. And my swordswoman is a little disgusted with him, but she's also kind of attracted to him. So there's my romance, because as a romance writer, I don't know that I'll ever get away from it. And some very famous writers are in the RWA, Romance Writers of America, because they said all of their books have some elements of romance. James Patterson, Nicholas Sparks, both of them were, if they're not now, they were at one point part of the Romance Writers of America. So that's kind of what I look at when I write. I want conflict. I want it to be interesting. And you can do manipulated conflict. You can do stuff that doesn't feel, you know, marriages of convenience. That's a very common romance trope, particularly in your historicals. Personally, love them. I think it's really fun to see two characters get stuck in a situation that they have to work their way out of. So yeah, I you know, it's tropey. Secret baby, you know, that's a big romance trope. But let's look at a goal, motivation, conflict, and let's talk about my my swordswoman first. And we're going to look at her outer goal, motivation, and conflict. I'm using, hey Renee, I'm using the Gaian Tarot. It's a pictorial version of a Rider-Waite system. And it's done by Joanna Powell Colbert. Sadly, it's out of print. If you can get your hands on one, please do. I own 5 copies. I know. It's an addiction. Oh, speaking of decks, I do reviews on YouTube. So if you look for Tarot by Arwen on YouTube, I just put up 2 new tarot reviews. One's Didactic Tarot, and the other is an oracle called Mythical Creatures Oracle. They're both out of Schiffer Publishing. So, got them shuffled, pulled, and this is for my heroine. And we're just going to see what's up for her. Her goal, Oh, awakening. This is the card of judgment. It's the card of rising up to a new level. And this really makes sense for her because in the opening scene, she's pretty ticked off because she's just gotten fired from the mercenary company she's with for being too old. Now, the true story behind it, and you learn this in the first few pages, she got ditched because there was a vote for the new captain of the mercenary company, and she backed the wrong horse. And so when the new captain came in, boot. So her motivation of why she wants to get to another level and why she wants to get to another place, for a bear, nest egg. Well, that's pretty simple, guys. Money. She didn't have, you can't live in any society without some sort of energy exchange. And in her society, in this world that I've built, it's a money-based thing. There's bartering, but she's got to sell her skills. And so that's what we're looking at with that nest egg card, that Four of Air. The conflict. Uh-oh. Ten of Water. Dun, dun, dun. The conflict is that she really loves where she is. They're her family. People, when they get into battles and when they're on war and when they're soldiering, they bond on a really different level than many of us. If you've ever been in a really traumatic situation, thank you so much for sharing, guys. I appreciate it. But you want to really find out who these people are you're with, and that's how you do it. Get into a traumatic situation, and man, you're going to learn about each other. And so my heroine's difficulty is she's got to go to a different level. She's got to go to a different place for money. She doesn't want to. I should add that my heroine has a sword that starts talking to her. She's kind of what I call a Missourian. She doesn't believe in that chip, man. So it's really difficult for her when this sword begins yapping in her brain. And her sword is not very kind to her. You might say it's kind of pointed. I know. I crack myself up because if I didn't, who would? So that's how I use goal, motivation, and conflict. That was the outer. Does anybody have any questions about all of that? Any discussion, anything? Because Periscope's a conversation, y'all. This is a back and forth. Don't make me beat it out of you. Oh, look, somebody left. Oops. I didn't mean to scare you. Okay, so shout out. Where's everybody from? I know at least 2 people are from Texas. How do you determine main conflict? That's a good one. Here's the thing. Your main conflict may change. Think about Shrek. Shrek is, in the beginning, his conflict is he wants to get all those little stinking fairy creatures out of his swamp. So, please do raise his hand. It's, whatever you do, go back and write. But Shrek's conflict in the beginning is get everybody out of his swamp. And to that end, he's got to go rescue this stupid stinking princess, right? On the way back, what happens? Shrek's conflict changes from get everybody out of my swamp to I think I love this girl. So don't lock yourself into the idea that the conflict remains the same. Even in Star Wars, Luke Skywalker's I gotta get off this farm. His goal changes, right? He goes from farm boy just looking for adventure to hero of the universe, gotta save the place, blow up the Death Star. So it does, yeah. Okay, good. So it's not concrete. And Luke's internal conflict is a little more concrete because his internal conflict is a soul-searching journey. It is, who is he? Is he the son of his father? Is he the man of his own making? So that's another thing to look at, and that's a topic that we can talk about later called theme. And every book, every good story has a theme. So there's a whole lot of different ways to look at that. But if anybody are there any other questions? If not, what about? Renee says, what about? Waiting. Poetry book thing. Poetry is a different beast, right? Because each poem is its own little story. Lane, exactly. A character should be changed by the end. I've read a series, like 3 or 4 of one, and the heroine never changed. The same things happened every book. And I was like, done. Done, done, done. Can't handle that. But poetry is a very different beast. Poetry doesn't really have a theme over a book. You can have poems that are the same idea or the same emotional theme, but I wouldn't look at theme or goal, motivation, conflict in terms of a poetry book. I've always said I'm going to put out some of my poems in a book called Love, Love, Ha, because basically those are the two subjects I tend to write on. I'm in love. You suck. So for poetry, I'm not really sure you can look at it from the same filter that you look at a fiction novel. Does that make sense? Now there are poetical journeys that certainly you could write, from your earlier years to and move your reader through, an emotional journey of your life that way. That might be something you could do. I've been writing poems. Wow. I think the first one I wrote, I was 11 years old, and it was all about a tree being bare of leaves, and it was about my father having died. And I've lost it. I know I've got it somewhere in all my stuff, but oh my gosh, it's angsty. It's like emo before emo ever came out, y'all, because that was in 1970. Daddy died in 71, because I was only 10 years old. He died on my 10th birthday. So that was a time ago. I'm 54 now. But, so you could carry people that way. Any other questions, y'all? Anybody else have anything to talk about tarot and writing? Dun, 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 dun. Oh, I probably can't sing that. It's probably copyrighted. I'm waiting. Okay, so let's do this. First 3 people. Now, caveat. If you've had a reading with me in the past 3 days, let other people jump in. First 3 people to tell me their name in chat and your sign. Just say Beth, Pisces, whatever. Oh, spreads for a story. Lane, I've got a whole bunch of them on my site at TarotByArwen. I have one called What Happens Next. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and do these readings, Lane, and then I'll come back to that question a little bit. But I do have quite a few spreads for story. I've got Mary and Aradia. Eek. I have to write it down, y'all. Mary, you said you were a Scorp, and Aradia, you said you were Cancer. And one more person while I'm doing the reading. I'm a Viking. So what I'm going to do is my typical question when I do one card reading, and that is, what does the universe want name to know? So, right? Roar, pillage. What does the universe need Mary to know right now? Oh, and a little shout out, if you're not following Mary, please do. She does great scopes on pets and crystals, and she's got mad knowledge on grooming and animals, and also on spirituality and how she connects those two things together, kind of like a holistic groomer. And she was just doing a scope on pet first aid, which I missed, but go follow Mary if you love your animal. Oh, that sounded manipulative. Go follow Mary. We'll just leave it at that. Mary, the universe wants you to know. Oh, I don't do reversals, y'all. Oh, 5 of Earth. Looks like you need to seek some shelter, honey. Looks like you need to build up some walls and get some boundaries going. Looks like there may be some pushing and pulling going on in your life around your home and things going on at the house. When the 5 of Earth shows up this way, often it's a card of not remembering to ask for help and not remembering to let people help you. And that can be very hard, particularly when you're a Scorpio. I've got a Scorpio moon and I know how to use it. But you've got that really independent, I can do it myself kind of thing. But ask yourself, at what point is your I can do it myself attitude undermining your home and your boundaries and your almost physical safety? I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if there's something at your home that just needs like to be physically fixed, and it could be a problem. I keep seeing a porch or a deck or steps of some type, but it seems like outside to me. So you might want to give it a look and see if, it needs another nail or something. And y'all, I know Mary online a little bit, so injured hubby. Okay, that's what's going on. So you may need to reach out and ask for a little more help. And it's hard. It sucks. But let people be generous. We want to, as a people, we want to help others. It makes us feel good. So let other people do that for you and let them feel good. And y'all, I gotta take my glasses. No, I can't take my glasses off, then I can't see you. I don't like that little reflection, so I'll do this. Oh, look, it takes away the turkey neck. Oh! We're doing a Radia next, as Arwen goes off the deep end. We're going to do a Radia next, and I've got a room for one more person. If you haven't had a reading with me, put your name out there and your sign, and I'll do one card for you as well. Radia is a Cancer. I need to know, universe, what you need Radia to know right now. Yeah, I need the camera up here, Mary. Oh, before we go on, I would like to introduce you to Nehru, the Basenji. And the minute I do that, the jealous little brother shows up. That's Batman. Okay, so Aradia, your card is... Now, I'm laughing because, Aradia, I want you to look at what the guy's doing in the card. Now, y'all saw me shuffle. I did not stack the deck. But this talks about writing, but it also talks about one of the reasons you're not writing is somebody hurt your feelings. Somebody really did not treat you well when you shared your heart and your writing with them. And I think they took a lot of joy out of writing for you. They made you feel like it was a useless pursuit, like you would never get published, like blah, 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 you're no Nora Roberts, that kind of thing. So, because this is the card 3 of Air. It's the 3 of Swords. If you look here, you can see the 3 of Swords tucked under there. But this guy is writing, he's journaling. He is writing from the heart, Aradia. So, go back to writing from your heart, and do yourself a favor. Ditch those old tapes. Ditch. Anytime you pick a pen up and you hear that voice saying, really? Again? You're not going to spend any time with me? You're going to spend time with that stupid story? You're never going to publish. Ouch! So I think that the criticism came from a place of jealousy and somebody who felt like they were vying for your time with your writing. Writing is important. Writing is another lover. Writing is another entity, basically. You have to give it time. You have to give it attention. Your muse can be very, very jealous. So, I don't know if y'all can hear that cat in the background. She's chasing a piece of paper. But Aradia, does that hit home for you? probably typing. Yeah. So open up. I write poetry to feed my muse. I pull 9 words out of the air and create a poem with it. Whether it's good or not, that doesn't matter. But I write to prime the pump. So, listen to the Arwen. Prime the pump. Right, right, right. Do we have another person who's going to be wanting a quick reading? Don't be shy, y'all. I don't bite hard. Then write your poetry. And let it feed your stories, please. It's a good thing. Okay, darlings. Okay, so somebody who's had a reading, do a shout out. Name and sign, and I'll do you since we don't have any other newbies. That's very good. And get rid of your infernal editor. Not internal, but infernal. The one that's super critical of what you put down on paper. To that one. Me, Renee. Renee, you're a Scorpio. I don't remember. I don't think I did signs the other time. What's your birth sign, baby? Virgo. Happy birthday, late or upcoming. Hang on one second. I've got to remove some things from dogs' mouths. Having dogs is such a joy. There goes vinegar. Oh, so you're a Virgo Libra cusp. Okay. Have you ever had your chart professionally cast? If not, you probably want to. Depending on time that you were born, you could be way closer to Virgo than you think. Or go to astro.com and cast your own chart for free if you know your birth time and birthplace. So, what does the universe need Renee to know right now? Okay. Renee, you and Mary may need to talk. You got the 5 of Earth. But I feel like this is more you hunkering down and loving your home and hunkering down and protecting your soul self. Maybe putting up some new boundaries around things and building shelter for your home, but building shelter for the soul piece of you. Sometimes I talk kind of esoterically, blah, blah, but I really get a sense of you nesting and creating beauty and joy in a small pocket for yourself so that you're not really spreading yourself far out. Renee and I are, Mary, are you also? I know that Renee and I, are both co-authors in a book that's coming out in November, and it is called 365 Ways to Connect the Soul. The next time we chat, y'all, I may talk to you a little bit about my tarot spreads book. This is spreads that I collect, spreads that I've written, and it's up to 100 and something, 130 pages. So, oh, good for you, Renee. Health to you, dear. Health to you. But I have, and here's how if you want to start a tarot journal, I'm going to tell you the one secret to starting a tarot journal. Okay? It's, honest to God, it is the one thing that will help you create this tarot journal. Buy the book that you're going to use. Buy the pen that you want. Now, are you ready for the secret? Write your name in it. By breaking the sacred white page, you can get past the idea of, I don't know what to put in it. My journal, I did. I wrote Arwen's Tarot Journal on it. Or did I just write my Tarot Journal? Good gravy. I don't even know what I wrote, and I showed it to y'all. My Tarot Journal. And begun October 4th, 2004. So this thing's almost 11 years old, and I've still got room to go. Right? This book came from Divine Rights, and it's Divine with a Y. She is a Colorado-based bookmaker and goes to many of the, or she was a Colorado-based bookmaker and goes to many Renaissance festivals. I don't know if she's still in business. As you see, that's 11 years old. But thank you so very much for joining me for my Periscope on tarot and writing. I'm Tarot. I don't even know my own name. I'm Arwen of Tarot by Arwen. And you can find me online at, look, if I do that, it's almost straight. TarotByArwen.com. I do have a free book there for you. It covers tarot journals. It covers how to read tarot intuitively. Bye, Mary. Catch you later. So please, head to Tarot by Arwen, sign up for the newsletter, and grab your free book if you like it. We'll talk later, y'all. Bye. Seek joy.